Your boy need therapy, man.
What's going on, dude?
We talked last time about potentially doing like a Raider cast or whatever as Raider fans and how we all need therapy. And they did it again. Did it again. They did it again. With the first, we got to change our name from the Las Vegas Raiders to the Las Vegas Reachers. We are addicted to reaching in the first round. And like many deviants, we don't just come all the way out with all of our deviant behavior at first sight. We kind of nibble around. So Cleveland Farrell, that was a bit of a reach. You know, we had Ed Oliver on, you know what I mean? There was, Josh Allen, and there were some guys that I kind of thought, okay, we should take them. But Cleveland Farrell, that was a mild reach. It's a mild reach. Could have traded back and got him.
Yeah, that part right there. Could have traded back and got him.
Yeah. Then, all right. See, we didn't go too crazy with that. The next year, what did we do? Damon Arnett. What? Don't. And then this year, is it Leatherwood?
Leatherwood. Alex Leatherwood. Now, it's always a bad sign, because you're watching, I was watching it too. It's always a bad sign when they announce the name and all the commentators are silent. And that's what happened. They were just like, where do we go from here? I don't even know if we were prepared to talk about this guy today.
They weren't, because they were prepared to talk about day one prospects, and he was not a day one prospect. You got to realize that, you know, a lot of these guys on the draft show, guys and girls, they're not draft experts. There are some draft experts, but a lot of these guys are TV personalities. They're going to do their best to talk about the topic of the day. So they learn about the topic of the day. They get conversational. What's the word? Yeah, conversational, conversant on the topic.
Right.
They probably get some notes. Okay, here's the names you need to know. Here's the sexy stuff that's going on. He wasn't in the press junket.
No, he wasn't. Now, I'm not as down. I mean, to me, I guess I kind of saw it coming. They traded away 3/5 of their offensive line. You know, Rodney, I can't think of his name right now.
Hudson.
Rodney Hudson, excuse me. Rodney Hudson.
All pro center.
I didn't agree with that whatsoever. Gabe Jackson, that writing's kind of been on the wall the last couple of years. Trent Brown couldn't stay healthy. Again, writing was on the wall with that one as well. They got some type of compensation, but it was on the wall. They traded away too many people for them not to pick up somebody in the draft. Now, the person they picked up in the draft, again, that was surprising. The offensive lineman they picked up, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just trying to be a little bit more optimistic than you are, because Louis Riddick said he liked the guy. Louis Riddick said he liked to pay. So I trust Louis Riddick's word because he was in the front office. I'm going to withhold judgment for now.
Well, for me, it comes down to values. I happen to like McDonald's hamburgers. Quarter pounder, no pickles. It's an underrated hamburger, if you ask me.
Extra pickles for me.
Extra pickles, okay. Tomato.
Right.
Now, buy it at the drive-thru, get some fries and a tall Coca-Cola, and right around $10. It's a nice little meal. In a pinch, it'll do. If you were to sell me the same meal for $30, I'd have a problem with said meal. And I don't think that this is going to be a bad football player, but he's got a an early third round, late second round grade, meaning the Raiders could have traded back, or matter of fact, fuck trading back. They could have took a guy there, and this guy would have been available the next time it was their turn to pick.
That's true. That's true.
He was going to be there in the second. They could have traded back, got another second rounder for this, got the guy they wanted, saved a little, paid him a little less money, you could have traded back and got this guy. You could have not traded back and got this guy.
Yeah,
This guy was going to be available the next time they drafted.
I think that part right there is true. It probably would have been available the next time they drafted. I think they could have went defense. They should have went defense with this pick. You know, I was hoping against hope that one of the top guys would fall. You know, Surtain or
Collins,
Parsons for sure. The Cowboys got Parsons. But yeah, I was hoping one of those guys would fall. But either way, I was hoping they would go defense before they went offense. But we'll see. I mean, like you said, they reached a lot when they drafted Farrell. Who's, you know, he still has room to grow. He's actually very good against the run, but just not much of a pass rusher right now. But when they selected Farrell, I had to call my cousin, like, hey, because he's a Clemson fan. He lives in South Carolina. And he's like, oh, yeah, dude's a beast. He's a beast. I was like, okay, because this was the first time I heard his name.
Exactly.
So, and then same with Arnett last year. Arnett, when he's healthy, he can be a pretty good defender, but again, had never heard his name before he got drafted. And it's the same thing with Leatherwood. Again, he could be a pretty good player, but this is a reach for number 17 in the first round.
He looks like a guard to me. He's got a guard body to me. He looks fringy. He looks fringy tackle. And that's troublesome, worrisome to me. But he moves. He looks like he's a football player. Right. It's just, why did we spend the first round? Why not trade? What do we have against trading back? These guys, all of these guys they've taken in the first round were going to be available later in the draft. Trade back. Why not trade back? Get more draft capital, and have more bullets in the gun to take shots at guys.
Well, I mean, trade back, you do have to have a trade partner. So maybe there was nobody to trade with. No one was really coveting the 17 spot. I don't know, but you are correct. If they had a trade partner or someone that was willing to trade up for them, they definitely should have did that.
I mean, the Patriots traded up to get Mac Jones just 2 picks ahead.
No, they didn't.
They did not?
No.
They were just
Mac
there?
Jones, that was their spot.
Oh, I thought they traded up. My bad. Okay.
They that was their spot. They didn't have to do anything to get Mac Jones. I thought for sure that they would trade up with like the Cowboys. I thought for sure they would trade up with the Cowboys at 10 to scoop them up from there, but they didn't. They just played their cards and ended up with Mac Jones, who might fit their system better.
Well, just on the positive side of this player is that he is an excellent run blocker. He has blocked for our running back in the past. So it's kind of the reuniting 2 guys that know each other. So there's some synergy there. He could be, it looks like he's going to be our right tackle. I'm not sure where they're going to play him at. I'm assuming right tackle.
Well, they had Denzel Good last year, who played both right tackle and guard. So I'm guessing whichever one that Good fits in better, this guy could either slide inside or be the right tackle.
You don't draft a guard in round 1.
You don't draft a guard in round 1 unless it's Quentin Nelson. Unless it's Quentin Nelson. Yeah, that's the only guard that you probably draft in round 1.
A super special guard, then
right.
But again, this guy wasn't on anybody's board. And you know what? Don't let me. And I hate to like talk about these draft boards of some of these guys as if these guys are real NFL scout evaluators. You just got to evaluate the guy that you like and draft him. But I don't like anybody feel like they're smarter than the pack. Like we're the smartest guys in the room, because that isn't the way our drafts have been panning out. We don't have a great track record. We're just finding diamonds in the rough, and we just we got everybody. You guys weren't ready for this. We did it. It's not that's not our track record.
Mm-hmm. No,
our reaches don't. Colton Miller did pan out though. Colton Miller was a bit of a reach.
Colton Miller was a bit of reach, and he has panned out. He has been a very solid left tackle. Josh Jacobs, I don't know if you can call that a reach. People were saying that he was the best running back in the draft,
No,
but he was a part, like he didn't get full time
no,
reps in
I
Alabama.
wouldn't call that a reach.
No, I
I
wouldn't
didn't
call that
call
a
that.
reach either. Okay.
To me, I had a first. I mean, I had a first round grade, as if anybody cares what I think.
All right. So, what did you think about the rest of the first round of the draft?
I was kind of live posting my picks, and let me pat myself on the back.
It kind of went chalk. It kind of went like
Yeah.
what you would expect. I mean, I was shocked, not shocked. There's a couple surprising things. First of all, Denver didn't get a quarterback. They're going to roll with Drew Lock and Teddy Bridgewater. They drafted a defender. Patrick Surtain is best corner, looks like, in this draft. But that was a little bit of a shock. I thought they would, go more either a quarterback or get an offensive lineman. That was a little bit of a shock. Dallas was smart, which was a shock. They passed on. They traded back and got still a very good linebacker. But other than that, it pretty much went chalk.
It did. Really, nothing really surprised me outside of what we did. You know what I mean? And I guess the Raiders are always good for some drama on draft day. I don't think that's ever going to change.
Yeah.
But taking a look at this, I mean, Trevor Lawrence, we knew he was the number one pick in the draft 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
there was no shock there. Zach Wilson was locked in at number 2. Word got out about who the Niners were really coveting, and that was Trey Lance, and that got out right around 1 p.m. today. My sources told me about that around 1 o'clock, and I made some money betting on that on the sports book.
Yeah, I didn't. That would have been too much to trade up all that much and get Mac Jones. I don't think the fan base would have been happy.
No. Kyle Pitts is an exciting guy. That guy, he's filthy.
I watched him a couple of times last year, and he was basically unstoppable at the college level. So, I mean, he reminds me a lot, actually, of Darren Waller. I think the way the Raiders use Waller is the way that Atlanta is going to use Pitts. And the fact that they have Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones too, that's going to be a pretty unstoppable offense. Now their defense is another thing, but I mean, they can score over 30 points a game.
Yeah, Matt Ryan. Watch out for Matt Ryan as a fantasy sleeper quarterback there, right?
Right.
It's just another freaking weapon.
Another freaking weapon, and the fact that their defense hasn't been good, so he's going to be throwing all over the field all game.
Yeah, it's going to be some track meets.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's an impossible matchup, and I have heard the comparisons to Waller. He's more shifty than Waller. I gotta say, I love Waller.
Than Waller. He's more. It's tough to say he's more built like a wide receiver than Waller, but he does have a little bit more wiggle. Waller probably has the same amount of straight line speed, but his wiggle, like you said, is a little bit better than Waller's.
Yeah, but yeah, good pickup for the Falcons there, man. Back on the Raiders real quick. I was actually really happy about Aaron Rodgers demanding a trade. And I'm like, yo, Aaron Rodgers wants to get traded. Why don't we just throw everything back up the Brinks truck? See, I'm all in favor of us just backing up the Brinks truck, trading every pick, because we're going to screw up half these picks anyway. Just trade the picks for the GOAT, Aaron Rodgers, trade Derek Carr, get a first round or a second and a third for him. Could have gave him this first rounder here because the guy we wanted was going to be in the second round. Like, yo, back up the fucking U-Haul truck, trade. Just ask them what they want. get Aaron Rodgers and just build a team around Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, true.
I'm with that. How do you feel about that?
I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan. I'm a Aaron Rodgers fan because, he's a California boy. He went to Cal like me. So I've been rooting for him my whole career. I thought I was going to have to hate him because I thought in the draft back in 2005 that he was going to the Niners. So that was like my worst nightmare. So, yeah, I'm a big Aaron Rodgers dude. So, yeah, if we were able to get him, now I don't think Green Bay is going to trade him, but they should be on the phone at least asking.
Can you hear that?
Hear what?
Oh, okay. I have another screen going.
Okay.
All right. So you don't hear that?
No.
Okay. You will now. All right. So, okay, speaking of Aaron Rodgers and the Niners, when we thought they were going to draft him, I don't know what the Niners were thinking when they drafted Alex Smith over Aaron Rodgers. Alex Smith, and I remember this draft, this one, because I love the draft. I nerd out on this shit. And I just remember just thinking, okay, Alex Smith was playing for Urban Meyer at Utah in like a spread offense with all types of gimmicky bubble screens, and he wasn't under center. He never dropped back to pass. It was all just two-step drops and get rid of that ball. Boom, 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 boom. And he was great at that. And, but Aaron Rodgers played for Cal and Jeff Tedford in a pro-style system.
System.
You know what I mean? Had an amazing arm. I think he played with Deshaun. I'm not sure. Was Deshaun Jackson there?
Deshaun Jackson was there. Marshawn Lynch was there.
Marshawn Lynch was there. And then who was the young brother that was super, super fast that came to the league and got multiple concussions? But he's fast as shit.
I think Javed Best was after.
Okay.
He was after.
Okay. But listen, I could have really, like, if I was the GM of the 49ers at the time, they'd have about 3 more Super Bowls because they would have drafted Aaron Rodgers. To me, I don't know what they were thinking. That wasn't even close to me.
It was not even close to me. And I echo your sentiment. I don't understand what they were thinking. When they didn't draft him, I was shocked and relieved and all that because I watched Aaron Rodgers. I knew how good he was. He had some mechanics that he needed to sharpen up. But, I mean, the kid, he's not a kid anymore, but he has an arm. He has probably one of the most talented quarterbacks I've ever seen as far as arm talent goes. So, yeah,
he's goated. He's straight up goated, man. So, anyway, it has nothing to do with this draft. It was just kind of anecdotal. Moving right along, Jamar Chase to the Bengals. I like that. I thought they might have went tackle here, but getting Joe Burrow, his buddy from LSU, is not the worst idea. And that guy's got game. He's got a lot of game.
It was either going to be Penei Sewell or Jamar Chase, and I think that they wanted to get that connection, the LSU connection, with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow going again. So I can't be mad at that. Linemen could be found later in the draft, and I'm sure they will address that.
Yeah. So
what do you think about Chicago trading up to get Justin Fields?
That was the move of the draft to me. I think that Justin Fields, and a hot take. I know I always say I don't hot take. Let me give you my hot take. I think that Justin Field has the potential week 1 to be the best quarterback the Bears have ever had under center. Now that's a hot take. That's a hot take.
It's a lukewarm take because think of the source. Bears quarterback.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say.
Like Jay Cutler is probably their best quarterback they've ever had.
Exactly. Smoking Jay Cutler. So I'm of the idea that Justin Fields is going to be better than smoking Jay Cutler. Okay. So if I'm hot taking like that. But I think Justin Fields is a leader of men. He's an athlete. He's a professional. Got a bit of a chip on his shoulder because I know he was QB 1A, 1B with Trevor Lawrence coming out of high school. He's a guy that's kind of been slept on, and I think it's kind of good to get those guys. You kind of want guys like that.
And the thing about Justin Fields, he played at Ohio State. A lot of quarterbacks have struggled in Chicago because of the weather, because it's wet, it's rainy, it's cold. So Justin Fields playing at Ohio State, he's used to that. I don't think that's going to be an issue for him. He's got the talent. I don't know if it was the best place for him, but it's looking like it's going to be the best place for him.
Well, I think I'm like lukewarm on the Bears in general. Right. I think Nagy's kind of a weird coach. I like the GM over there. They kind of put together, to me, like a very middle of the run type of team. A very middle of the run type of team. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, but they seem to be forward thinkers. They're not just following what everybody else is doing. They're kind of like mad scientists over there. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt right here.
Well, they have an enormous error to correct from a couple years ago. That would be the name of Mitchell Trubisky. So this time they traded up to get a quarterback that I think at least has a better chance to succeed than Trubisky did.
I think they're looking to right that wrong. I thought Mitchell Trubisky had some stuff, so I kind of figured like I was actually a Mitchell truther. I didn't think he was going to be as bad as he was, but he wasn't any good. He didn't have court vision. None of the quarterbacks have court vision. Smoking Jay Cutler, McMahon, Sexy Rexy Grossman, Kyle Orton.
Kyle Orton. What was the dude from UCLA they drafted in the first round years back? Cade McNown. Cade McNown.
They never get this right. They never get this right, and I'm thinking this might be one they get right. So I'm happy for Justin. I'm happy for Justin Fields. I'm happy for the Bears, and I'll be rooting for that one. I'll be rooting for that one as
well. But like you said, a lot of it went as chalk. Zach Wilson has been going to the Jets for about a month now.
Yeah.
Devontae Smith goes to the Eagles. So in a way, he's reuniting with one of his college quarterbacks in Jalen Hurts.
He's probably the second most interesting guy. I think Kyle Pitts was the most interesting guy in the draft to me. Devontae Smith was the second most interesting guy in the draft because he's not a unicorn. He's got something that we have. The NFL is a copycat league, and they have all these charts and decisions. When you're talking about a left tackle, you want a guy to have an arm reach of 34 inches. So if the guy has 33 and 33 and 10 inches, whatever the fuck it is. If they don't have the exact measurements,
right,
you're going to say, oh, they got short arms. But if you have like a quarter inch longer reach, then you've got the right amount of arm. So it's kind of like, okay, so Devontae Smith is a guy who's just light in the ass, is 170 pounds. So the copycat league that it is, we don't look at the film, we look at the measurements. So he's got a measurement that sticks out as bad. Right. But the tape is fucking amazing. He's fucking Tyreek Hill. He's Percy Harvins that can run routes. You know what I mean?
He got so open. Like butt naked open, like ridiculous open on like half the passes that were thrown to him. Yeah. Was it national championship game where he had like 200 yards? Receiving a couple, like 2-3 touchdowns in the first half.
This went nuts. He's Tyreek Hill, right? I think he's got a lot of Tyreek Hill in him, and I'm thinking that the Eagles got a player there. The Eagles are a team I don't understand. How the fuck did they win a Super Bowl? It doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. It was like everyone was having a career year over there. You talking about everything aligning at the same time, and Nick Foles.
Makes no sense.
It doesn't make sense. The only thing I can explain is that everyone was playing at their peak,
At the same time.
at the same time,
Yeah.
and it was really lightning in the bottle.
It's an anomaly, right? Because they aren't very good now. They're not terrible. They're not very good. They don't even have the swagger of, yeah, we won a Super Bowl. It was like, that seems like it didn't even happen. Like, it was a bad dream.
It was a couple years ago, but it seems like it was about 25.
Yeah,
considering the personnel that they have or they had, and the way everyone's playing the last couple of years, it seems like it was like 25 years ago.
Right? So
there's a couple of my favorite picks. Najee Harris going to Pittsburgh. I mean, is that like a fit or what?
Yep.
I mean, that seems like the perfect match. A big bruising running back. Najee Harris is not just a bruiser. He has a lot of athleticism, very good speed for his size, but he can run you over like Jerome Bettis. Jerome Bettis used to play for the Steelers. So I think Najee Harris is like, with the Pittsburgh Steelers, is like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, it's a pick that was supposed to happen, right? That pick
was
absolutely supposed to happen.
It was in the clouds. It was in the moon and stars and whatnot.
A 232-pound running back, 6'1", 232 pounds. Najee Harris. It was supposed to happen. Yeah, and I'm kind of rooting for that team to get back, man. They're a team that's been a staple of quality and consistency over the last decade and a half or so. So right. I think the league is better when the Pittsburgh Steelers are really the Pittsburgh Steelers. But let's take a look at some of these highlights.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm sorry, I mean, Ben Roethlisberger's future Hall of Fame quarterback. We all could agree on that. But when he has to throw it 45, 50 times a game for them to win, that's not Pittsburgh Steelers football. Pittsburgh Steelers football is, smashing somebody in the mouth.
The worst thing about – oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're saying something.
Oh, I was going to say the worst thing about Ben Roethlisberger is when he's throwing a pass at a girl and she doesn't catch it.
Oh, man.
That's the worst thing about Ben Roethlisberger. It's his passes at the chicks.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's throwing passes to chicks and they're not even open.
No, they're not even open.
They're not open at all.
They're not looking for the ball. They're not
at all. At all. And he's just like, no, catch this. You are open. Sorry. No, covered. That was a rape joke, everybody. That was a rape joke, okay?
So, Najee Harris. I think that's a very good pickup for the Steelers. I think Micah Parsons for the Cowboys. I hate to say it because I was kind of hoping he fell to us as Raider fans. Cowboys did a good job trading back and still getting the guy that probably helps them the most because their run defense was terrible last year. Their whole defense entirely was terrible. So picking up a good defender like him, good job, Cowboys.
I'm about to say, am I the only one that loves the way the Cowboys draft? I love the way the Cowboys draft. Byron Jones was one of my favorite picks of all time. That is a young man of character. He broke the record for broad jump. I was really hoping the Raiders were going to get him. Cowboys got him. The way they got La'el Collins when remember like the tape was leaked of him. I think wasn't he smoking weed or something, like his stepfather released a tape of him smoking weed like the day of the draft. So he was slipping. Yeah. And he told everybody, like, don't draft me because I'm not going to show up. So he ends up getting undrafted. Then he goes to Dallas. Man, the Cowboys to me always to me they do a lot of good things in the draft. Maybe it's just me.
The last few years, they have been doing a lot of good things. Ever since they kind of pushed Jerry aside.
Yeah, his son took over.
Yeah, because years ago, remember the Johnny Manziel draft? Jerry wanted Johnny Manziel, and they convinced him otherwise somehow, and they ended up drafting offensive lineman. I forgot which one it was, but one of their ones that became an All-Pro offensive lineman. So they have been drafting well the last few years. And
Okay,
I think they got somebody in Micah Parsons that's going to really help them out.
All right, so let's go back over the Cowboys picks. Let's just go back. We'll start at 2014. They get DeMarcus Lawrence in the second round. Zach Martin, a guard, in the first round. Now, DeMarcus Lawrence went on to have a really nice career, right? And Zach Martin was just a really solid guard. So to me, that's a good draft. The next year, they select Byron Jones with the 27th pick in the draft. I've already told you how I felt about Byron Jones, sharp young man. Now, their second pick was Randy Gregory, somebody who could not stay off the weed. So that didn't work out for him, right? But it was a guy that I was kind of looking at, okay, but you got your first pick right. Next year, Ezekiel Elliott. I mean, home run. Second pick, Jalen Smith. Third pick, Malik Collins. And I think that might have been the draft where they ended up getting I think the draft before that's when they got Collins. Year after that, Taco Charlton, Ryan Switzer.
Yeah.
Fourth round, Ryan Switzer.
Okay.
Okay. So, because that's important. Like, we're talking value here. Michael Gallup, they got 2018 with a third rounder. They got a dude named Leighton Vander Esch. I don't know who that guy is, but that didn't work out. 2019, they gave us their first round draft pick, so we'll kind of give them a pass there. They did get Tony. Yeah, and then last year they got CeeDee Lamb. So, I mean, as far as first rounders go, they're hitting on their first rounders.
They have been hitting on the first rounders, but they have neglected their defense the last couple of years. But that could be the fact that they dug up Mike Nolan to have him coach the defense. So we'll see. We'll see what happens this year.
I just think they've done a very fair job of drafting, and I'd rather have their drafts than ours as a Raider fan.
True. Like I said, I thought we would go defense. I was hoping we'd go defense. I was thinking maybe Kwity Paye.
Yeah, why not? Why not Kwity Paye?
I don't know why he got Kwity Paye. I mean, he doesn't have the big sack numbers, but you watch tape on this dude, and you see at times where he's dominating. And this guy came from nothing. He's fought like his whole life. And I mean, you can't question his work ethic. So whatever he was not getting in college, he didn't have the big sack numbers per se, but he had the higher ceiling.
Well, Cleveland Farrell didn't have the big sack numbers. That didn't stop us from using a top 10 pick on him.
Top 4.
Top 4, yeah. So keep that same energy. Don't let that be the reason you didn't draft the guy at 17.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I don't understand what the town is doing. We ain't in the town. I don't understand what Vegas is doing sometimes, but you know what's crazy about the Raiders is they do moderately well, or actually really well with later picks.
They do. They actually do better with the later picks than they do with the early picks. You think Cleveland Farrell, Max Crosby? Yeah, you think Cleveland Farrell, Max Crosby in the same draft? Max Crosby's been way more productive. and he was the 4th-round draft
Yeah, I know, yeah.
pick. But no, they have been doing good. I would say, like, between round 3 and 6, they have been doing a fairly good job in their draft. So we'll see what the next couple of days hold on to. I mean, come up with, and I don't know.
And even the Darren Waller pickup, that was a genius move, right? It was a genius move. We got him for nothing, and he's one of the top players in the league. So it's like, okay, we're doing enough right that I'm not just writing us off. It's just like, can we just kind of shore up some of these unforced errors and see where we can be at?
Right. It's just a matter of, last year we were 8-8. Year before we were 7-9. When you're 8-8, it's just like if you did a couple things this way instead of that way, you're 9-7 or 10-6.
Yeah, not that far off.
Yeah, not that far off. So that's where we're at right now. And it seems like this is, I wouldn't say a make or break draft, but it's very critical because 8-8, you can go either way. You've seen teams go 8-8, and next thing you know, they're 4-11 or 4-12, or they're 12-4. I guess I got to get used to adding an extra game in that and saying 12-5 or 4.
Oh, that's right. Is that happening? That's happening this year, right?
That's happening this year.
Interesting.
So
is there going to be? So there's going to be a bye week then, right? Still
going to be a bye week.
So let's take a look at our guy here. So, like, he moves. There's one thing I'm going to say about this guy. He moves, and he looks like he's looking for bodies to beat up on, right?
Yeah, you could see that he has. Right there, he's on the island with a DN.
He's got some fight to him.
He's very tall, though, so he might be good as a tackle, but I can see him as either position.
He's going to have to fill out that frame, I guess, right?
Yeah, he does look a little wispy for a tackle, and that's why I'm, putting the caveat in there when I say for a tackle, because compared to us, he could he could probably bench press us.
Both of us.
So he probably needs to fill out a little bit, like you said, but it does look like he hasn't reached his full potential, but it's hard to be too enthused about it when they could have gotten later in the draft.
Here's how I think they make that pick. It's like, okay, man, you guys want to settle this or what? This is my terrible John Gruden impersonation. Okay, man, we're gonna draft the next player in the draft, and you know how we do it around here, man, in Las Vegas, man. We're wheeling and dealing, man. You know what I'm saying? You guys ready? You ready, Mike? You know I'm ready. You ready, Tom? Yeah, of course. Gruden had that. Tom Cable had paper. Tom Cable gets the pick. He dude, and that's who we got. This was Tom Cable's pick, and Tom Cable was a loud voice in that room, and he's probably telling these jackasses, listen, you wanted Jonathan Abrams. You decided, you know what I mean? You decided on frickin' Arnett. I hit when I got the pick last time. You guys trusted me. I hit on Colton Miller. Yeah. Let me take this pick right here. Let's protect our quarterback's backside, and let's knock some guys down for Josh Jacobs, and let's go. Yeah, make a lot of sense there, Tom. Let's do it. They're going to be talking about us, man. These guys are going to go crazy on the talking heads, man. These guys are, they're going to want to hang us, man. But wait till they get to see this guy, man. They're going to love this guy. He's an animal, man. He's one of our, let's get our guy. And that was that.
Yeah, like I said, I was kind of resigned to the fact that they were going to go offensive line just because they traded away 3/5 of their offensive line, and they wanted to get cheaper in that area. And what's cheaper than
A rookie.
a rookie?
Exactly.
So I sort of resigned to the fact that it was going to be O lineman. Nothing sexy about O lineman. Could very well work out like Colton Miller did, but nothing to get excited about.
No, I mean he's probably going to be a nice little player. It's just that why do it in 1 year where you paint yourself into a corner where you have to draft for need rather than best available player, because that leads to problems later on. You should just be drafting best available, stocking your roster with a bunch of gems up and down that lineup, because you're going to have to pay these guys at some point in time. Some of these guys are going to injure. Some of them aren't going to work out. So just continue to stockpile the best players. We just seem to find ourselves in a spot where we're always just drafting need. And that isn't what successful teams do in the draft.
That's true. That's true. That's kind of where we're at. We're just trying to fill the spots instead of getting the better players. And I don't know. They didn't go too heavy on defense. Well, no, excuse me. They didn't go too heavy on the defensive secondary in free agency. They just picked up Carl Joseph. Secondary was a big problem with the Raiders last year. I'm sure you've seen that, seen many games.
Yeah. So they brought back Carl Joseph.
So the bulk of what they did in free agency was just on the defensive line, which, again, needed help as well. So I don't know. Maybe they're thinking a scheme change is all they need. I mean, they picked up Carl Joseph, former Raider, now once again a Raider. So maybe they're thinking with Gus Bradley coming in and a scheme change coming in, that's going to unlock, the potential of Damon Arnett and Trayvon Mullins and Jonathan Abrams. But I think they didn't.
I like Gus Bradley coming in. I do like Gus Bradley coming in. I think that's a good, solid move.
I do think so too. I think so too. But yeah, I think Arnett is not bad from what I saw. It's just that he had problems with injury. He's going to stay on the field. Trayvon Mullins he's a really good corner. He's always around the ball, but he's way too handsy.
Yeah.
Way too handsy. I mean, like, he'll be right in the position. For some reason, he'll just grab. And here comes a flag, pass interference or defensive holding. I think he has the footwork and technique to stay with anybody. He's just way too handsy.
What you think about Clifford Etienne? Is he going to be better than Najee Harris?
I don't know. I watched a lot of Etienne. It seemed like he was at Clemson for like 8 years.
Yeah.
He was there for a while. Dude's a beast. I mean, obviously he's not as big as Najee, but he runs with so much fight like Najee does.
Yeah.
So, and he's probably better out of the backfield. I see him being more like a Marshall Faulk sort of deal.
Yeah,
definitely
a different type of player.
He can get like 15 to 20 carries if you need him, but he can also get 5 to 10 targets.
He's a little bit more explosive, getting the ball in space. I think he's more of a home run hitter.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting to see what Urban Meyer does over there, because he's over there in Jacksonville with Trevor Lawrence. Like, they've kind of got like a young. It's shades of Cowboys back when they had Emmitt Smith and Troy Aikman and Jimmy Johnson coming from the college ranks to the pro ranks.
That's a good analogy, because they had the triplets. Right now, you could say Trevor Lawrence, Etienne, and maybe Shark. Maybe DJ Shark.
Yeah.
As their guy. Their
receiver.
Guy. Yeah. So this is a good comparison. Obviously, it all depends on how Urban Meyer adjusts to the pro game. He's already kind of complaining about the difference between college and pros already. When the free agent process opened up.
Yeah.
That was
a bad sign.
I thought that was weird. I'm like, okay, this is not college recruiting, man. This is
What
grown
do you
men
mean
talking
I
about their.
can't be with them?
This is
I can't
grown
be
men
with them.
talking about their money. So this is completely different. You're right. So that's it's going to be interesting.
I
See,
would be remiss. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I would say I would just be remiss if we didn't show any highlights of Dante. We just got to see some Dante Smith highlights. This guy.
Devontae? All right.
He's one of the most special athletes I think I've seen. I guess the closest thing I could think to him would be Reggie Bush in terms of just a college weapon, where it was like anytime the ball got near him, it was he had a shot to get a touchdown from it.
This is true. This is the thing about him, and like Reggie was the guy that once he started running, you weren't going to catch him. You weren't going to
No,
even run with him. And it seems like that was the way with Devontae Smith, obviously as a wide receiver instead. But once he got a yard or two of separation, you weren't going to make up that yard or two.
it seems like he's always accelerating. Like he's always accelerating.
Right, exactly. It just seems like, when someone's running at full speed trying to chase after him, he's going to run at an even more fuller speed if that's a possibility. It's and he creates so much separation for a guy that is not an absolute burner. No, I mean, he's not a burner like Tyreek Hill, but he creates so much separation that it just seems like he's the fastest guy out there.
Yeah, I think he's got change of speed and change of direction. They use that weird word like quicker than fast, but no, he's not. He's quick and fast.
He's quick and fast, but he's got wiggle. And he's one of those things when he accelerates so quickly. So even
in and out of cuts,
in and out of cuts, he'd make one cut, and then in that second step out of that cut, he's at full speed. And that's a rarity.
Oh man, he's a guy with I'd rather have him than Ruggs.
Than Ruggs?
Yeah.
I think the book's still open on Ruggs. His first round grade to me so far has been incomplete.
Yeah. It looks like we might have gotten the worst of the first round receivers.
At times it looks like that because he does disappear. He has disappeared during games, but then there's times where he makes incredible catches.
He can take your top off.
Yeah, he reminds me a lot of remember this name? Jacoby Ford.
Oh. Yeah, see, and Jacoby, that's not a good thing, Marv.
I know it's not a good thing.
That's not a good thing.
It's not a good thing because Jacoby Ford, you remember Jacoby Ford for one game where he just ran back punts and kick returns and jumped over people, catching touchdowns and everything like that. But what I mean by that, he has the potential that Jacoby Ford showed in that one game is the potential that Ruggs has.
Yeah.
Where he could be a difference maker all over the field if he has, if he gets the ball in his hands.
And you're right. The grade is incomplete. And I guess I'm just at this point of it just seems like I can't be optimistic with this team. I've got to set myself up for failure because we seem to do ridiculous things all the time. And it seems like if something could go good or it can go bad, it's going bad for us. And I'm looking at Ruggs and I'm already feeling like, oh man, CeeDee Lamb's a better pick than Ruggs.
It reminds me of this stretch of drafting reminds me of the Warriors. And the Warriors were coming up on the draft, the Steph Curry draft. Ooh. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, they better pick up Curry. They better pick up Curry. These fools, the Timberwolves just passed up on him, picked 2 point guards instead of Curry. They better not mess this up and pick up another Todd Fuller for Kobe Bryant instead of Kobe Bryant. But that's what it reminds me of. It just reminds me of that stretch of Warriors drafting where it was just terrible year after year after year. Like there was just always there were
Adonis
always
Foyle. Yeah.
Adonis
I
Foyle,
don't, yeah.
Patrick Bryant. It was
Danielle
just
Marshall.
Danielle Marshall. I mean, some of these guys turned out to be okay pros, but
Yeah.
they were picking in the lottery every year.
Yeah, they're like
Every year.
top 5.
Top 5 every year. And they were always getting it wrong. And it just seems like the Raiders are on one of those runs where you're just like, all right, what's going to go wrong now? Who are they going to pick up? They're going to pick up a left-footed kicker in their first round draft choice. What are they going to do? I don't know.
That's where we at, man. That's what I say. I needed some therapy. I needed to get this all out of my system. I don't know what my guys are doing over here. It's a little bit odd. It's a lot odd as to what's going on. But they definitely have a plan. Whether I agree with it or understand it or not, I do have to realize that these guys know what they want to do. It does seem random. It seems random when you have a press conference with John Gruden, and you say, John Gruden, you guys have the least amount of sacks of any team in the league. He goes, man, it's really hard to find guys who can rush the quarterback on the edge.
Yeah. Funny thing is, what happened a couple of weeks before that?
You traded the best guy in the world. So when he says that, it's like, is he trolling us? Is he joking? Or is he not connecting these dots? What's going on with the dude?
Well, to give him credit, I think that was Reggie McKenzie's last year. So I think, honestly, he was throwing Reggie under the bus. Like, yeah, I'm not the one that he kind of wiped his hands off. I'm not the one that traded him. Look at that guy over there. He's the one that traded him. So I think that was more throwing Reggie under the bus, because I remember that, and I took a screen capture on my phone, sent it to my buddies. I was like, he can't be this stupid. He can't.
Yes. I often wonder, is he really this stupid or is he playing cagey?
Yeah.
I don't know. I really don't know. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are the Raiders better or worse if we keep Reggie Miller and Reggie McKenzie as GM instead of bringing in Mayock?
I wanted Reggie to succeed. I'll put that out there. But Reggie only had one good draft.
Yeah, he did a terrible job.
Yeah,
he did a terrible job.
He had one good draft, and that was because Khalil Mack fell to him. Basically, they gifted Khalil Mack to him. They did pick up Derek Carr in that second round, that same draft.
Yeah.
And that was the draft they had Gabe Jackson too.
Yeah, it was an outstanding draft.
That was a really good draft, but it was just one draft. The rest of his drafts were terrible.
His Melvin Watsons, the Mario Williamses. We could never draft a second rounder. Our second rounders never seem to stick around.
The DJ, what's his name? DJ, the first round corner.
Oh, yeah, DJ, what was his name? But he was a guy that had like the surgery on his intestines or whatever.
Yeah, a guy they probably could have got day 2 or 3. He picked him up in the first round. Yeah. So, yeah, and his free agent pickups didn't work out pretty much at all either.
So you're saying we're better off without Reggie?
I'm saying
as bad as this is,
we're probably better off without Reggie, because I could see the talent in Henry Ruggs. I could see the talent in Jonathan Abrams. I could see how Pharrell can be better. They're still reaching, like we both agree on, but I don't think any of those players that I mentioned have hit their ceiling. So we'll see. I think they're better off. But this is, like I said, this is a critical year because, 4-12 in the first Gruden year. which was basically a tear down build up. 7-9 next year, progression. 8-8 this past year. Again, slight progression. That's just looking at it in general. Obviously, me and you both saw the second and third year and know they should have made the playoffs both those years. But I digress. They still made progress year 2 and 3. 8-8.
Yeah, this is true.
8-8.
Just looking at Reggie. Look at Reggie McKenzie. Okay, after the good year, his next year he gets Amari Cooper. That's a no-brainer, right? That was an absolute no-brainer.
Yeah.
But then after that, it was Mario Edwards. Then it was Clive Walford. Remember him? Bum. John Feliciano. He was a tight end.
I do remember that name. Okay.
He was a bum. He was a great athlete. Turned out to be a bum. John Feliciano was kind of a good utility lineman. He was decent.
He's still in the league.
Yeah, he was decent. Neron Ball was terrible. Max Bayless was terrible. Just nobody else from that draft actually did anything. Next year, Carl Joseph in the first round. Jihad Ward. Shalik Calhoun. Connor Cook in the fourth round. We traded up to get Connor Cook.
That's horrible.
I think not Russell Wilson. There was somebody really good like quarterback. No, it was Dakota Rain was still on the board. We traded up to draft that guy. Year after that, Garyon Conley. I don't know. How did we get Garyon Conley wrong?
Garyon Conley. What went wrong with him? Yeah, I know. Was he like hurt his whole first year?
He had 4 picks his first year, but it was.
How many games did he play?
No, you know what? I'm lying. He did not have 4 picks. He did get hurt his whole first year.
Yeah. Okay. That's what was wrong. And like right when he started to get on a little bit, started to get into a flow, we traded him to the Texans.
To the Texans, yeah. And for his career, he's got 4 interceptions for his career.
Oh, yeah.
How did we get that wrong? How do you get that wrong? That was just a strange one to me. Garyon Conley and then Obi Melifonwu.
Remember that guy?
He's out of Connecticut. That was 2017.
Wow.
Eddie Vanderdoes from the UCLA defensive tackle that never did anything.
You know what? He was in the starting lineup from day one and just he didn't healthy. Never seen anything. Yeah, didn't do anything.
That was one of the worst drafts I've ever heard of. There's not one player we had Shalom Luani. There's not one player from David Sharp, I think might have stuck around, right? David Sharp? Is he around?
I don't think he's still around.
Okay. All right. Tackle. Nope, he's not. He's actually in Washington. He was with us for he played 9 games in 2019. But yeah, just how do you miss on 8 picks? All 8. So yeah, Reggie came over with scouting chops, had a good scouting department, but just for whatever reason, could not perform, could not hit the bullseye. So yeah, as bad as John Gruden is, he does hit on a couple plays. Hunter Renfrow was a good pick. Foster Moreau was a good pick. Max Crosby, like you said, Trayvon Mullins. Now the Lynn Dowden pick was weird. That guy got to Las Vegas and said, "Fuck everybody," right?
Yeah, no, that was weird because they tried to convert him to a running back, and I'm like, he didn't play running back that much at Kentucky. He was more a receiver converted to a quarterback because of need, but didn't really play running back. Why were they trying to convert him to running back? That just seemed like a weird thing to me.
Well, I believe the weirdest thing is that he was running around Las Vegas getting hammered every night.
Yeah.
They had to get him out the city. They was like, oh man, young guy, big city. It wasn't working out.
Yeah.
It was one of them hood niggas. It was one of them hood niggas that gave him some money in Las Vegas, and it wasn't the right situation. You got to be careful on who you're bringing into Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
That city will turn you out.
For real. Yeah, for real. In one way or another. or
right?
another, or another, or another.
Or you could just file that one, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man. So, hey, man, I'm gonna watch the rest of the draft. Obviously, I'm gonna try to get a little bit more positive about things. For all we know, this how do you say his name?
Leatherwood.
Leatherwood guy turns out to be a genius pick. Or he doesn't have to be a genius pick. He just has to be solid. If he's as solid as Cleveland Farrell, then I'll be okay. Because Cleveland Farrell isn't a bust, but he isn't a difference maker either. But he is a solid rotational defensive lineman, a big body, and a good locker room guy. You know what I mean? He's, good for the culture. So if we're getting that out of this tackle, I'm assuming he's a tackle, then I'll live with it, and we'll see what we do in these later rounds. Tomorrow could be interesting. We have 2 picks tomorrow.
I think so. Yeah, he doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be the best tackle or guard in the game. He just has to be someone that doesn't get his name called by the ref while he's out there or the announcers. If he can just be out there and just do his job and be anonymous, which is what a good lineman does. They don't get the name called by the ref because they're holding. They don't get their name called by the announcers because they blew a block. If he's just out there doing his job, being anonymous, then I'll be satisfied.
Me too. I'll be happy with that. And as for the rest of the draft, I'll be watching, of course, tomorrow. If we want to get like a quick 30-minute show in tomorrow, that might be cool to go ahead and do that. There should be some interesting developments tomorrow. I just love this time of the year. The National Football League is the best television show on earth. They have the greatest production. They got the best guys talking about the sport. It's year-round. We go from free agency to the draft to OTAs to preseason to the season, fantasy. Gotta love the league. And I'll be watching just about every minute of the draft tomorrow and Saturday.
Yes, sir. So if we want to get something quick going, talk about what teams are adding and what teams are being stupid besides ours, then we can do that.
I'm going to need some therapy. Well, actually, you know what? There's really nothing that could happen tomorrow that's going to be worse than today in my eyes. So
we'll see. We'll see about that.
All right, percentage real quick before we go. Percentage, what are the chances that we get Aaron Rodgers through a trade?
I'm going to say a 2% chance.
2%. So don't even get excited.
Don't even get excited about it. Don't even get excited about it.
He put us on his list, though. He did say the Raiders because he wants to play on the West Coast in California.
Yeah, because he just got not married, but engaged to Shailene Woodley, Hollywood actress. So I'm sure he wants to be around the area. And I know for a fact that he still holds a grudge against the Niners. So he ain't going there. Even before they drafted Trey Lance. Yeah. If they wanted to trade him, he was like, nah, you had the chance.
Oh, one more thing before we go. I'm going to test your Raiders knowledge here. All-time passing leader for the Raiders.
Derek Carr.
All-time rushing leader for the Raiders.
Ooh. I'm going to have to say Marcus Allen.
You got it. Okay, I'm about to say. That was obvious. All-time receiving leader?
Tim Brown.
On it. You got it. All right, there it is, man. Goodness gracious. Right. You got them all. Shit. You got them.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out because I knew Marcus probably had rushed for more than anybody. I was trying to figure out if someone just by staying longer. We don't do stay longer.
No, we don't do the long stays. We really don't do the long.
We do. We're daily rates. We don't do the weeklies.
I got one stay longer that you'll probably get. All-time scoring leader for the Raiders. Bit of a trick question. Okay, there we go.
Seabass.
Winningest coach?
Percentage or victories?
Looks like they got it here by victories.
Who is that? Flores?
Nope. It's very easy.
Madden?
Yeah.
I thought it was one of the two.
Yeah, it's Madden.
I guess Madden did coach longer.
He had a longer run. He had a longer run, but he only had like 10 or 11 games back then. So that's just how good he was. That's just how good Madden was.
Yeah.
That's how good he was, bro.
Glad to see that Flores got in to Kansas.
Yeah, man. It was important. That's important, man.
Yeah. It was a long time ago.
Got to recognize that guy, man. The guy he broke down some doors. Not that there was a floodgate of Hispanic coaches that made it to the league, but he was the first, right?
He was the first Hispanic quarterback, and there still hasn't been a lot since he's been.
I'm about to say, yeah, that's probably more rare than a Hispanic coach.
Yeah, I would think so.
Come to think of it, there's not a lot of Hispanic players in the league.
Well, I mean, there are Hispanic players, but I don't know about coaches, head coaches. Nah.
I'm trying to think of I can't think of a Hispanic running back or a Hispanic wide receiver.
No, I'm thinking
I can't even, or cornerback. I know there's Anthony Munoz, who's arguably the greatest tackle of all time.
Yeah, and I think there's been a few offensive linemen.
Yeah, a couple linemen, right?
Yeah.
Tony Gonzalez, I mean, he's black too, so I don't know. Who claims it? Who gets him? We got to do a racial draft for Tony Gonzalez.
I don't know. If Tony Gonzalez can speak Spanish, which I don't think he does, but if he does, then they might have a claim to him.
Tony Gonzalez doesn't even speak Ebonics, so I'm sure he doesn't speak Spanish. Although he's a Cal guy. I'm sorry, I don't want to talk about these Cal guys.
Yeah, he is a Cal guy.
Heck of a basketball player for you people who don't know.
Yeah.
Heck of a basketball player.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and wrap it up then.
All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to the Gumby Show. This was a special edition of the Gumby Show. This was the draft recap / Smack God therapy session, because year after year, we keep on reaching, man. We keep on reaching. I try to use logic and deduction and research to kind of decide what I think we're going to do. And every year, it's like every year.
Every year. And every year I try to do what I did today and try to see the silver lining, the optimism. And fan is short for fanatic for a reason.
That's true. Hey, we're in this together, man. Hey, Raider Nation for life. I'm not going to have a hard time calling them the Las Vegas Raiders. You know what I mean? It's always the town to me.
Yeah.
But let's get a quick one in tomorrow. We'll do a quick recap of tomorrow's festivities. It was good to see people together cheering and booing Roger Goodell today. It was like a special moment. You know what I mean? For me to see that, it's like, hey, the life is returning to normal. Things are getting back. People are getting vaccinated. Crowds are coming back. Sports are coming back with fans. I'm excited about this. And every day we get a little bit closer to normal. So everybody out there, thanks for tuning in. I am the Smack God. The guy next to me is the Marvelous One. This is the Gumby Show. You are the listeners, the most important part of this show, the watchers. Thank you. We'll get with y'all next time. And that, sir,